Right, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Want to give double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. Salutations to the men of the Hopeful and Sincere elect. Is Makazar from Trinidad camp. Just want to do a little edification for the elect's sake. And the name of this lesson would be The Gold is to be called and chosen. Alright? Because a lot of us been called to this truth. Alright? A lot of us been called because the parable, with the wheats and the tares, it says, the wheats and the tares grew together, and the Lord said, let them grow together, and at the end you will separate the wheat from the tares. You understand? And that wheat and that tares can apply to many in the truth too. Alright? The scripture said in the kingdom of heaven, a man is like a man casting a net, and he took up fish, both good and bad, and he cast back the bad and kept the good. All right? So being caught in the net is like being called to this truth. But then the Lord will cast the bad back. All right? So the goal is not just to come to this truth, but to be chosen, but to make it to the end, as Paul said, to complete the race. All right? So run I, not as uncertainly. The goal is to complete the race, to make it in the chariots, in the marriage chamber. That is the goal, to be called and chosen. All right? Stop acting like as long as you have the garment on, you're already in the chariots. No. We are prisoners of hope. We hoping to be saved. All right? We ain't saved yet. Just like what John said to the Pharisees is to say not that you have Abraham as a father, because the Lord was able to raise up stones. All right? So don't get too cocky being in this truth. Because being in this truth, right now, being in the truth is like it's like basically like the Lord, is like a little grace period where the Lord just, seeing who fit to enter into the chariots, basically. You understand? You're being scrutinized by the Lord. The new scripture said we are made both a spectacle to man and to the angels. This is Matthew chapter 22, verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. Revelation 19, I believe it's 8, it says the white raiment is the righteousness of the saints. So the wedding garment is that righteousness, which is the whole and complete doctrine and faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So you could be in this truth and not believe in it. You could be in this truth and just abide because you have nothing else to do. You could be in this truth and not have faith. And that will make you be naked and not have your wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how comest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless, just like the 5 foolish virgins. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. All right? Many are called, but few are chosen. So the goal is to be called and chosen. All right? I had a dream a couple of years before I came into the truth. Could have been like 5 years before I came into the truth. I had a dream where I was at a distance and I was seeing this white church. The church was pure white. And outside of the church, it had a lot of people that, were trying to enter into the church, but they couldn't enter into the church. All right? Despite wherever they do, they could not enter. They could not open the door to enter into the church. And as I walked up to put my hand on the door, I basically just went straight into the church. I didn't even open the door. I automatically ended up into the church. All right? And a lot of people are going to be like that. They're going to be trying to enter in, but not being able to, as the scripture said that in Romans chapter 11, verse 7. All right? You're gonna be a part of this, but you're not going to make it in the chariots. All right? You're not going to make it into the chariots. And it's all up to the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So our goal is to strive to make it. Didn't the scripture said, give all diligence to make thy calling and election sure? That is how you're gonna be chosen, because you're showing the Lord. It's basically by your actions. You saying, Yahaba Hashem Yahushai, I want to be a part of that number. By your actions, you saying, Lord, I want to be in that chariot. I want to be chosen. Not only to be called, but to be chosen. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 20. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, so if you purge yourself from dishonor, then the scripture said, to cast all works of darkness. By taking the necessary steps, the necessary procedures, doing the works of an evangelist, loving the brotherhood sincerely, doing everything sincerely and faithfully, you basically saying to the Lord, Lord, I want to be part of the number. I don't want to just be called. I want to be chosen. If you therefore purge yourself from all the works of darkness, all right, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. You're going to be meet for the master's use. Meaning you're going to be chosen. Means you're going to be chosen. You're going to be part of the elect, because you're fit for the master's use. But if you just been called, then you're just going to be cast to the side when Yahushua come. And that is why some men, they don't last very long. You did it for me. Spare my second. Boom, see if I can find it. All right, I can't find it, but it was talking about like in Timothy where it said that some men's sins, it show up beforehand, and then other men's sins show up, after. All right. The reason why I'm making mention to this, that is why I see some men, they're bugging out. They might leave the truth. They might follow wayward doctrines. They might get enticed by other men to leave the truth. They might just get disenchanted and start cursing our brothers and being all despondent. All right? And that is because they weren't chosen. They were just called. So now the Lord tending the flock. All right? Now the Lord doing the sifting. So now we're seeing more and more who more likely to be chosen and who were just called. All right? So our goal is to be called and chosen. That is the main goal. Stop acting like as long as you in this truth, you in the chariots. Nah. You have to make it to the end. That's what the Lord said in Matthew 24:13. He that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. But it's not of thy will, but Yahaba Hashem Yahushai's will. Because to endure is all up to him. All right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 26. It says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. All right? So you're running because you know, you're trying to achieve something. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So Paul didn't want to be a castaway. So he's saying, he's doing the necessary things. He's taking the necessary precautions to make sure that he's an election called. He's making sure that his election sure. That is the reason why Paul said he's keeping his body under subjection. Means he's doing the necessary things. When you look up to keep your body under subjection, it means to beat yourself black and blue. Means you putting yourself in a spiritual headlock and giving it some jabs in, you keep yourself in line. That is why he said, if a man therefore purge himself for these, as he is, so are we in this life. So we have to be pure, even as our Father is pure, be perfect, even as he is perfect. The work is not finished The day you put on the garment. The day you put on the garment and stand in the matter of fact, it begins before that. From the day you learn Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you've been called. The next step is yours. The next step is yours. From the time you learn that glorious name, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you have been called. And that is when the work's just begun. It's not just knowing that you're an Israelite. The scripture says in let me read it real quick. This is Philippians chapter 2, verse 28. Philippians chapter 1, verse 29. My bad. It says, "For unto you it is given in the behalf of Mashiach, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake." So it's not just believing alone that you're an Israelite and believing in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, but it's also to do the works. All right? Also to suffer as the scripture says, as a Christian, any man that live godly shall suffer persecution. And that is how the Lord gonna try you to see if you are chosen or not, if you fit for the master's use. He shall try them in the furnace of adversity. And a lot of men, they fall out. The scripture said that. A lot of men fall out because they can't withstand that trying process. Matthew 13, verse 20. "But he that received the seed on a stony place, the same is he that heareth the word and anon with joy receiveth it, yet had no root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he was offended." So he got disenchanted because he couldn't withstand the trying process. He couldn't withstand the furnace of affliction. And that was just proving that he was just called and not chosen. The scripture said, let me read it. This is Isaiah 48 and 10. It says, "Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction." All right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 5. "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." So the Lord gonna choose us by trying us. That's how we're going to be chosen. Because we withstand the trying process. Gird up thy loins like a man. This road is not easy road. The scripture said the narrow path. The straight and narrow path. We're going to be tried, and that's how we're going to be chosen. So the goal is not only to be called, but to be chosen. All right? This is Philippians chapter 3, verse 12. It says, I said at verse 11, it says, "If by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead, not as though I had already attained." And some men act like they already attained. "Neither were already perfect, but I follow after, that I may apprehend that for which I also am apprehended of Mashiach. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended. But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth also to those things which are before, I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahushua Mashiach." So what Paul is saying, he ain't obtained nothing yet, but he pressing forward to obtain. Just being called to this truth is one step, but you have to be chosen, and you have to press towards the mark. You have to fight that fight. All right, you have to fight that fight. The scripture says, as Paul said, fought a good fight. You understand? You have to strive for the mastery. When you call the mastery is a crown, you have to strive for that crown. You have to fight for that crown. All right? When you get chosen to run a race and you in the lineup, you were just chosen for the chance to win the gold medal. But if you don't run that race, you're not going to make it to the end. And you're not going to win that trophy. So just being called to the race is the first step. And it's a blessing to be called, but it's even greater to be chosen to enter into the kingdom. That is what the scripture said. Blessed are they that were called to the marriage of the Lamb. All right. This is the final precept here. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 14. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So they were called and faithful, and because of that they were chosen. Then the scripture said in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, stewards shall be found faithful. They were faithful. In all the adversity and the tribulation that the Lord put them through, they were still faithful. This is what Paul said, none of these things moved me. And they were chosen because of that. They that were with him were called and chosen and faithful. And that is the goal. To be called and chosen and also to be faithful. That is our goal. So we almost at the end, but our race ain't done yet. Because Revelation 2:10 said that is the time we're going to be tried. Alright? And we have to be faithful in that. Alright? So hold on to that faith, because guess what? The race ain't quite finished yet. This is the last leg, but it gets harder. So with that, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sensei elect. This is Makazar from the Trinidad camp. I want to say shalom and stay strong. Shalom.